Dear friends, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your location and your time. This is the questionnaire, Mazi David Nana. I want to really, you know, appreciate every Biafran that is fighting for the freedom of their people. At this critical time of our freedom, a lot of people will eventually fall out. A lot of people will also be bought over. A lot of people will also decide to stay on the fence while their communities are under siege, while their communities are burnt, while their people are being killed. They decide to keep quiet because of the nature of the part of the country that they find themselves in. In the same vein, a lot of people who, in one way or the other, have been affected by what is going on, will also come out to speak against the injustices, to speak against the killings that is happening in their communities. The secret war that is happening in Biafran territory is something that every Biafran must wake up. If you are still sleeping, wash your face so that you can see clearly what actually is happening in Biafran territory. We have made a lot of enemies, a lot of people have taken us, a lot of people have vowed never to see that we are free as a people. So they make themselves our enemies. They will do everything humanly possible to fight against what we are doing. They will do everything within their jurisdiction to sabotage what we are doing. But eventually, they will never ever succeed. Why they will not succeed is because the project that we embark upon, the freedom that we are fighting, is divine. The freedom that we are fighting is divine. The freedom that we are fighting today is divine and designed by Chukwu Okike, the creator of heaven and of earth. There is something that Biafrans should understand. In the fight for freedom, there is always casualties. There are those who will be used as sacrifices, and there are those who will eventually be victorious. There are those who they have designed to use them to bring freedom to their people. So those who are going to be used as sacrifices, it does not mean that their life does not matter. What it means is that this is how it was designed by Okike himself. You know, we believe in reincarnation. They may come back again to enjoy the freedom that they died fighting for. This is the result of what is happening in Biafran territory. The video you are about to watch is one of the atrocities that the Nigerian terrorist state committed in our land, and they continue to commit in our land. They send their terrorist army into our villages, into our communities to kill our people. This terrorist army and police, they don't have human feelings. These terrorists are trained to kill. They don't know who is a baby. They don't know who is an infant. They don't know who are women. They don't know whether you are pregnant. They don't know whether you are sick. They don't know whether you are poor. They don't know whether you are rich. They don't know whether you are the only child. They don't know whether you are the only surviving children. They don't give a damn. They came with a mission. They came to carry out an instruction. That instruction is to try as much as possible to wipe out the entire Biafra race. The conquest of Usman Dan Fodio, they also want to replicate it in Biafra land and in Biafran territory. Are we going to allow them to do that? We will never allow them to do that. And for that reason, you see them coming to communities. They try to bring every living thing down in a way to provoke the Biafran defenders to come out and engage them in conventional warfare. And why these atrocities are happening in our various communities, those who were supposed to go out, make the investigation, and educate the people of what is actually happening, you will see them nowhere. The newscasters, because I hate to use the word journalist, these people are not qualified journalists. Because if you know the actual meaning of journalism, you will know that these newscasters in Nigeria are not qualified to be called journalists. That is why I am using that word, newscasters. They don't know how to bring authentic information to educate the poor masses. What they only know, as long as the terrorist Nigerian state can pay them, send envelope to them, They don't give a damn what is happening in Biafran territory. What is happening in our land is something that every Biafran should rise up and condemn. What is happening is something that every Biafran should condemn.
Release our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Release our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. And release Biafrans in your own custody. Biafrans are dying on daily basis. Asari Dokobo are killing Biafrans. Hopo Sadema are killing Biafrans. Tinubu, Yorubas are killing Biafrans. Hausas are killing Biafrans. Now Biafran decided to defend themselves. And the Nigerian state government, who is killing Biafrans, tagged Biafrans a terrorist. How can over 3 million Biafrans, 50 million Biafrans, 100 million Biafrans all over the world are terrorists? How is it possible? We are only fighting for our freedom and nothing more.
These are the men that are the rising of evil. These are the men that are rising of evil. Look at them.
Go. Release our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Release our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. And release Biafrans in your own custody. Biafrans are dying on daily basis. Asari Dokobo are killing Biafrans. Hopo Sadema are killing Biafrans. Tinubu, Yorubas are killing Biafrans. Hausas are killing Biafrans. Now Biafran decided to defend themselves. And the Nigerian state government, who is killing Biafrans, tagged Biafrans a terrorist. How can over 3 million Biafrans, 50 million Biafrans, 100 million Biafrans all over the world are terrorists? How is it possible? We are only fighting for our freedom and nothing more.
These are the men that are the rising of evil. These are the men that are rising of evil. Look at them.
This is the atrocities of the terrorist Nigerian state against the Biafran people. This is what Biafran people undergo on a daily basis in Nigeria. This is what the atrocities of the Nigerian state against the Biafran people. This is how the Nigerian terrorist government are dehumanizing, destroying Biafran land. This is the atrocious acts that Biafran people undergo on daily basis. Even at that, there are Biafrans also who are helping the terrorist Nigerian state to commit all these their heinous crimes in Biafran territory. These are the sabos that the terrorist Nigerian government have engaged their services. They engage the services of those who were supposed to be Biafrans. They engage their services to sabotage the freedom of their people. A lot of Biafrans joined the Nigerian state to sabotage their people.
The moment the thing happened, they sent me the picture. I see them. The same mama, the same papa, I see them. The picture they my phone now. Okay? So make una know they open mouth anyhow, they talk anyhow. Very, very, very important that it come. Gento have learned his lessons. Because those of you that push him to line, come and talk, come and talk. You no go see Gento, come talk rubbish again for you. Because when he come talk, una go use and do rubbish. You no go see Gento, come talk again. Gento will not come line again.
This is part of those that the terrorist Nigerian state are using against the Biafran people. This is them. These are those that are contributing with the Nigerian government to fight against their land. And we have questions to ask certain group of individuals. We have questions to ask them. Whether they are really Biafrans or they are products of Fulani in our land. This is not my normal broadcast. I just said, let me just use these few minutes that I have to speak about these atrocities that you see all these newscasters in Nigeria, the atrocity that them themselves are committing. All these ape face, Abati, and the Rufai. These are people who are committing atrocity using their news medias, because if you don't report to the people what is actually happening in their communities and vicinities, the people can run into trouble and they can fall victims of your inability as a journalist or as a newscaster to inform them or educate them of the impending doom or the situation on ground in their various communities. The newscasters in Nigeria are part and parcel of the reason why the terrorists are enjoying their terrorism in Nigeria. Journalists, because I don't. So I don't think there is any journalist that comes from Biafra land or comes from Igbo land that will practice journalism in that contraption you call Nigeria. Those people, they can only be those who have Fulani blood that will answer Biafran names, and you see them practicing journalism in Nigeria, because Nigeria is not habitable. Nigeria can never give you an opportunity to practice journalism the way journalism should be practiced. So anybody that comes from Biafra land that you see as a journalist, I want you to understand that that person will not be 100% Biafran blood, because there is no journalists that have distinguished themselves from the 1980s up to this moment, or 1990s up to this moment. Gone are the days that you have people like Ken Saro-Wiwa, um, Ekpo, somebody Ekpo, I've forgotten his other names. Ray, yes, Ray Ekpo. These are the journalists that damned the consequences and reported news the way they get it from the source. These are the journalists that can look in the government eyes and tell them that this government is committing genocide against the people. If it was the days of Saro-Wiwa, if it was the days of Delegiwa, if it was the days of Ray Ekpo, all these atrocities that you see happening in Biafran territory, they will get a very big coverage, and the international community we know actually what is happening. During the days of Ray Ekpo and the Delegiwa, during the time we have what we call News Watch, a lot of publications were made against the government of Babangida and against Sani Abacha. Then, these publications were authentic, verifiable, and confirmable by the people at that time, by Nigerians as well. Even the one that led to the death of Delegiwa, okay, that was led to the Delegiwa that was murdered by Babangida through a time bomb. Everyone know what happened. Ray Ebo tried to report that news, but this time around, this time around, the journalists or the newscasters we have, the likes of Rufai, the likes of Rufai and Abati, they don't have the balls to write against the government of Nigeria because the government of Nigeria bankrolls them. The government pays their bills. So, how are you going to fight against a government that controls you? A government that pays your bills. How are you going to come and fight against it? Or how are you even going to report news that the government will not like? It is not possible. That is why we don't have journalists. Journalism in Nigeria is dead. And because of that, these atrocities that is happening today is happening. And nobody is talking about it. Nobody is reporting it. The journalists of these days, they are now against the people that are fighting to be free. They are the tools of the government to promote their government agenda, to promote the activities of the genocide. Even the government, they try to cover the atrocity that the government are committing. That is what Face, Abati, and the Rufai is doing here. They saw this video. This video here has been online for a very long time. But you have not seen the Face, Rufai, and all the rest of the newscasters here. You have not seen them talk about it. You can't see them talk about it. You can't hear them talk about it. The reason why they cannot talk about it is because it affects the government that is paying their bills. The reason why they cannot talk about this video is because if they, as journalists, talk against the government will come for them. Their lives will be in danger. Their family's life as well will be at stake. That is why they prefer to turn blind eyes to the atrocities the Nigerian government is committing in the land. Look at how people who call themselves military security agencies are turning machine gun on unarmed civilians, unarmed civilians, people that are sleeping, people that are hiding, people that are trying to protect themselves just for hiding. These terrorists, because they are not security agents, they are the Nigerian army and police are terrorists. Look at how they opened fire on civilians' locations. They don't give a damn who that chain bullet is going to meet. They don't give a damn whether it's a baby, it's a pregnant woman, it's a nursing mother, it's an elderly person, it's a young man. Tell me, in this vicinity, who is challenging them? Nobody is challenging them. Nobody is confronting them. But because they have an instruction, they have a mandate, they have a project to accomplish, to wipe every living thing out from this community. That is why he doesn't give a damn who comes against his crossfire. He must to fire it to make sure that they are down. to make sure that any living thing that raises its ugly head or its head is going to go down. Is this how America or civilized world? Is this how war is executed? We are not at war. During this period, the war has not been declared. They started intimidating communities by this method. Now you can imagine what they are doing in Biafran territory today. What they are doing in our territory is more dangerous, more heinous, more heartbreaking than what you see here now. And those who call themselves newscasters, journalists, will not talk about it because it has to do with the government that is funding them. It has to do with Tinubu. It has to do with Shetima. It has to do with Hope Uzodinjo. It has to do with Soludo. It has to do with Peter Mba. It has to do with LS Oti. It has to do with all the politicians, all the political players from the southeast. It has to do with all the politicians that are coming from the north and the Nigerian states. This is their decision against the Biafran people. They are killing our people in secret, harassing them, kidnappings, destroying our farmlands, burning our properties, because they know they have already bought the governors. The politicians from the southeast are in their pockets, because before they can be able to use you or give you a position in the southeast, you have already accepted to work with them and work for them. So whatever they are doing in your community, in your land, there is nothing that you have absolutely to say or do. You cannot fight against them. You cannot even ask them questions. This is why atrocities continue unabated in Biafran territory. But once they see anything that they will use to talk against the people of Biafra, you see them coming up. You see them, arranging their news media platform. Oh, to talk about Biafrans who are fighting for their freedom. Because the more they talk against Biafra, the more the Nigerian government will promote them. The more money will come into their account. The more, when they tender for contracts, the Nigerian government will now weigh how damaging their report is against the Biafran people before they can approve that contract for them. So all of them are working for the Nigerian state. They are working for the zoo. They are working for their money. They are working for the Nigerian state. And that is why they can never hold Nigeria accountable. They can never report the atrocities that the Nigerian state are committing in our land. They can never report that. They can never report that.
Beg, if you don't already listen to this video, I beg people where they in state and then get this video. Anything way they do now, avoid problem. You carry you go tiger base. I go lie for you. Anything you carry you go tiger base already. Avoid them. Because anything as a guy, as a girl, anything you carry you go tiger base, possibility of you coming out life, they very same. Secondly, now judges don't on strike. Now, let's see February. They try to resume. They carry you go tiger base now. Before October this year, For you to remain that, for you to survive that place, the chances are very slim. So anything wey dey pass through now, no allow tiger birds carry you. Police case na just small thing o, SARS na small thing o. If tiger birds carry you, body go tell you. Say no to crime.
You have had it. Anything that will take you to Tiger Base. Where is Tiger Base? And what are they doing in Tiger Base? Tiger Base is a police unit in Owerri. Just like you have other police units all around Biafran territory. It is not only Tiger Base. Oh. You know, the reason why we are speaking about Tiger Base is because the atrocities that is happening from Owerri, and because the war is focused in Owerri State and Okigwe State, and the atrocity that is coming out from there is very much alarming. So while the secret war is ongoing in Biafran territory, the Nigerian government are using Tiger Base to intimidate Biafrans and to intimidate our youths. They are using it to kill a lot of Biafran youths, men and women, who were supposed to stand up and defend their communities or defend their land. If they suspect you to be, oh, maybe your brother is fighting for freedom, they'll come and use Tiger Base to arrest you. And once you go to Tiger Base, like this our brother said, the possibility of you coming back alive is very, very slim, because your life is in the hands of the government. In Nigeria, your life is in the hands of the government. I am telling you, the government determines who goes, who comes, who lives, and who dies. So whenever they take you to their torture chamber or their slaughter camps, it means that you say your last prayer. It is by sheer providence or by God's special grace that you may make it back alive. By God's grace that you can make it back alive. Tiger Base is a very dangerous police unit in Owerri that Hope Uzodinma is using for political vendetta and to fight against the Biafran people. Hope Uzodinma knows that he has entered the bad book of Biafrans. So what he's going to do is to make sure that he does the highest set of evil. In fact, if it was possible for Hope Uzodinma to eliminate all Biafrans in Owerri, in Imo State, Hope Uzodinma will not blink an eye. He will do that. In order for Hope Uzodinma to continue his atrocities uncheckmated, Hope Uzodinma surrounded himself with killers like himself. Hope Uzodinma surrounded himself with those who hated Biafrans. Hope Uzodinma surrounded with himself with those who were born Fulani in Biafran territory. Remember, Hope Uzodinma was the one who advocated for Ndi Biafra, Biafrans, Ndi Igbo, to start intermarriage with Fulanis, and that he was going to sponsor it. And he know our people kicked against that because it is taboo. We are not Muslims. How can you now advocate for Fulanis to come into our land and take our women as wives? And you are going to offset the bills. What is the reason for him saying that? The reason is that Hope Uzodinma have to implement the agreement, the contractor agreement which he had with the caliphate, to make sure that every atrocity that he's committing in Biafran territory, nobody is going to prosecute him. Okay? To make sure that all the crimes, financial crimes he has committed in Nigeria, that he is going to be protected. So in exchange for that protection, Hope Uzodinma has to sign the death warrant or the death of people in Imo State. He doesn't care. His families are safe abroad. His children are studying abroad. So every other person that he is in Imo State is under his care. So therefore, the Fulanis can kill as many people as possible. He even wanted to build a settlement for them, and people kicked against it. He now went and brought Aboki Danjuma as the commissioner of police. And that commissioner of police, with Hope Uzodinma, the lives of our people are in danger. The lives of our people are endangered by the position that Hope Uzodinma occupy in our land, by the position that Aboki Danjuma and Ali of Hope Uzodinma and other criminals and terrorists that are working with Hope Uzodinma. Our people are dying in the hands of the terrorist Nigerian state, and the newscasters are looking the other way around. Even while the Nigerian government are throwing bombs in Biafran territory, you don't see any reports anywhere from the news medias. You don't hear about it. Nobody talks about it. Nobody wants to talk about it in the Nigerian news media. Why? Why are they not talking about it? They are not talking about it because they are the media arm of the government of the day that promotes the agenda of the terrorist Nigerian state. And that is why we are now standing as our own media. That is why we will continue to educate our people and educate the world on what the Nigerian government are doing in our land. Their atrocities is being documented, and that is why our acting Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere, when he went to give the congressional statement, everybody saw how he outlined the atrocities of the Nigerian terrorist state. Even the world are aware, but they are getting their information from independent sources. Independent sources like you and I that are in the media, when we post things on X, when we post things on Twitter, on Facebook, or YouTube, as the case may be, when the words come across it, they listen and they now form opinion on what is actually happening. So when our acting Prime Minister Ogechukwu Nkere went to Washington, D.C. and made that congressional statement hearing testimony, it was a confirmation of the independent information that each and every one of us have against the terrorist Nigerian state. It is to show the world that Nigeria is a human abattoir. Nigeria have destroyed a lot of people. Nigeria will continue to destroy a lot of people if no action is taken urgently in order to bring Nigeria down. If no action is taken against Nigeria, more lives will be lost, more properties will be destroyed. That is the reason why we are calling on international community to know that Nigeria is a human abattoir. Nigeria is not supposed to exist. Nigeria must be destroyed to save lives, because Nigeria have taken a lot of lives and will continue to take lives if something is not done urgently to save people who are living in that part of the world. People who are living in that part of the world, they find themselves in a very dangerous and precarious situation because their government have turned against them. The government that was supposed to protect them turned against them. If you go to Okwama community today, what the Nigerian government did in that community is very, very alarming. Nigerian government who were stealing and having some oil dispute with bunkers. When they have these bunkers and Nigerian government oil theft, when they clashed, they now invaded the community instead of them to go after the bunkers like themselves. And the bunkers are also military, Nigerian military, who are doing oil bunkering in Okwama community. And now when they clashed, they now come against the indigenous people. When they clashed, the independent or the criminal bunkers who are equally military men like them, they fought themselves. And those criminals was able to overpower the Nigerian terrorist government. The Nigerian terrorist government, instead of them to investigate and try to find out how they can round up on all those their counterparts who were doing oil bunkering, they now sent their terrorist army into Okwama community, accusing Okwama community indigents responsible for that confrontation, and that led to the death of some Nigerian terrorist soldiers. No question was asked, no investigation was made. Nigerian government sent their terrorists into Okwama community and leveled Okwama community. People died, property destroyed, and nobody was held accountable. The journalists that you see here, Apeface Abati and Rufai, they didn't have the balls to even report what happened at Okwama community. Apeface Abati, they did not have the balls to report what happened in Okwama. These journalists or these newscasters, they did not have the balls to tell the world how the Nigerian government invaded Okwama community, killed, maimed, destroyed, and burnt property. No, about it, but they did not speak about it. They did not write about it. They did not cover it because it affects Biafra community. Look at what is happening in Benue. What is happening in Benue State is genocide against the people. Indigenous people have been threatened and chased out of their communities. The terrorists that the Nigerian government imported from Niger, Mali, 2025, 2015 for elections, and later promised them residents in Nigeria, are now taking over indigenous people's communities. Are the journalists talking about it? Are the newscasters talking about it? The answer is no. Why? Because when they talk about it, it's going to tarnish the image of the government that pays them, that sponsors them. They will not talk about it. But they will only come and talk about what is happening in Biafra land. Not that they are going to talk against what the Nigerian government is doing in Biafra land or Biafran territory. No. They will keep a blind eye to the Nigerian government atrocities. But any news that will tarnish the image of the Biafran people, that is when you will see them converge like they have converged here. And they will start opening their rotten mouth wide to castigate the Biafran Defense Forces, even when they don't have verifiable information. Even when the information that they are talking about is AI, they don't give a damn. As long as it is talking against Biafra, whether it's AI, they don't care. They want to paint Biafran people black. They want to, try to discourage our people from joining to fight for their freedom. Are they going to succeed? They are not going to succeed because we are here to set the record straight. We are here to help our people to fight for the freedom. We are here to make sure that those who came to kill us, they are going to pay with their lives. We are here to make sure that our women are protected. We are here to make sure that our borders are defended as well. So if you come to kill Biafrans, you are going to go down for it. If you come to destroy our people, we are going to stand against that destruction. If you come to overrun our communities, we are going to overrun you. It is not going to happen. We can never fold our hands and watch you, the terrorist Nigerian government, even with your journalists not talking about it. We are going to talk about our case because it is our problem. We are going to solve it. One thing we will not allow is to allow you to have your field day in Biafran territory. No, we will fight with everything that we have. We will fight with the last drop of our blood. We will fight with everything within our disposal, everything that we can lay our hands upon to make sure that the land of our ancestors is protected. That is something that we will promise every one of them. We are going to promise the Nigerian government everything that we have. We are going to put it in place to make sure that we defend our land. We must defend our land. We
Yeah, good
must
morning,
protect our
good
people.
afternoon, good evening, depending where you're
We
watching me
must
from.
protect our women and our
I
children.
I have come up once again today, being 1st of
They must be under the protection
August
of Biafra.
2025 to expose the Eastern leaders
You must
about what that
understand that
is happening now.
our people must
Number
be
one,
protected at all cost.
I am Gentle the Yahoo. The whole world knows me
Our
very
land
well.
must be defended at all cost.
I want to give the least, but not the last, to the conscious world today, for them to
Those who
understand
have come to kill
what
us,
is going on. And I want
you are
also
going to go down for
make
it.
this
I
video,
want you to understand that this video is not going to last more than 1 hour. I just want to make it just very fast because this morning I had an issue with my device. I could not come as usual. So now that I've put it in order, I just want to make this video very fast. So where I am, I'm not in the house, okay? So that is why my video I cannot open my video because where I am, it's not good for me to make video. So my wonderful Biafrans and lovers of freedom, all these terrorists coming to our land, they are going to collect one after the other, including those that they are using to fight against us. All of them are going to pay the price for this sabotage. Ndị sabo ga-amara na ọ na-eme, ha ga-ekweta. Ọ bụrụ na ha sị na ihe anyị na-eme agaghị enwe isi, anyị egburu isi ha wee tinye ọma nwee isi. Na nke ikpeazụ a, my goodness me, they don't know how prepared we have come to restore our freedom. They don't know that most of us, like our prime minister told them, that we are product of our ancestors. We are product of all those children that you saw died of kwashiorkor. We are that we are starved to death. Over 3.5 million of them, they died not because they committed any crime, but because the Nigerian government wanted us exterminated from the face of the earth. Nigerian government wanted you and I to be exterminated, not to exist in this world. That was why they went to that destructive stage of imposing blockade in order for Biafran people not to get food to eat. As a result, 3.5 million children, our ancestors, our people died. Children that committed no crime. Children that their only crime was that, oh, they are born Biafran. Their only crime was their parents was fighting to be free. So Nigerian government imposed blockade upon our territory, and we lost a whole lot and lot of Biafrans. But we came back to finish that fight. They started it. We are going to finish this fight at this particular time. We are not going to carry it over to our children. No. We are not going to carry this fight over. We are going to fight this fight until the last man standing. And I want to let them understand that no one man will be standing. We are going to be standing in thousands and in millions while we are defeating them. Yes, because the land of God itself is our land, and the spirits that guide our land will continue to fight along with us. We will defeat the terrorists any day, any time, any moment, no matter how they come. Even if they recruit you, we are going to defeat you with them. Even if they recruit more of you in our various communities, we are going to bring you people down, and our freedom will come. There is nothing that can stop us from being free. The world knows about it. Of course, the world is knowing about it now. Whether the Nigerian newscasters, the terrorists, or the brown envelope journalism that we have in Nigeria, they write about it. whether they cover it, whether they say anything about it, it doesn't move us. What we know is that we are focused. We are getting to our destination, and any obstacle on our way, we are going to bulldoze it down. We are going to confront the enemies, both internal and external, to make sure that we get to our destination. Go and ask those who were before you what they saw. They tried to sabotage this freedom, but they never succeeded, and they will never succeed. Having said that, I want to use this opportunity to appreciate Mazin Nandikano, who started this journey at this 21st century. I appreciate him for keeping the spirit, for standing very strong and tall for us to make sure that we are free. I also thank our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpanjoko, who also joined to make sure that we are protected as well and our land is free. I also appreciate Ogechukwu Nkere, the acting Prime Minister, who also saw the need that when Simon Ekpa was called for questioning, there is the need to fill in the gap. And today, he has achieved a lot that the American State Congress can now talk about Biafra and are on the recognition project. They are looking towards to recognize Biafra as a nation. We appreciate our acting Prime Minister. I also appreciate the Information Minister, under which we are the media. Our Sonia Akbarawa is being a very wonderful information minister to this government, educating our people and telling the world what they need to know about the atrocities that is happening in Biafra land, committed by the Nigerian terrorist state. I appreciate every man and woman that is supporting the PRGIE for our recognition and de facto government BDF for the liberation. I also support every one of you that is doing the needful, creating this awareness for the world to see. The Biafran Defense Forces, the men and women whom under their guidance our land will continue to be protected. I salute them. I salute them. I salute them. Under the General Igwe Butuzo, the triple star general, and the chief of Biafran Defense Forces, for what he and his men are doing, delegitimizing the terrorists and protecting the Biafran people. Propaganda will continue to come, but eventually we will triumph at the end. Those are proponents of propaganda. They are not going to go free as long as you come against the Biafran nation with your propaganda. You are going to pay a price for that. So continue in your evil ways. Every evil have an expiring date. When your date clocks, then you have to answer to your atrocities. I thank you so much for joining me this morning. This is not my normal broadcast, so I want to really appreciate every one of you that even took out time to come and listen. Gift, I see you. Our own Nonso, I see you. Ugom Kiruka, I see you. Charles Oji William, hello, I see you. Aderele Lekan, I see you. Chinenye Obiefun, I see you. Freedom for All, I see you. Monday Osas, I see you. Emi Nwachuku, I still see each and every one of you. Unfortunately, I have to go now. I know our sister Betty must be online as well. And later we are going to meet on the space to continue the awareness that we are. Please continue to stand very strong in this liberation. Your reward is very close. Your reward, our reward is very, very close. We are going to enjoy our land. This is the time. As in the Bible, Aronango, Erienando, Abi. So this is time. We know we are passing through a lot of things, trials, temptations, tribulations, with the propaganda of the Nigerian terrorist state, ndị Sabo na ndị otu ha. We know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu already warned us that it's going to happen, so it should not come as a surprise to anybody. Those who are castigating our government, those who are castigating our APM, those who are castigated our Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekwanjoko as well, they will still castigate you. So it doesn't matter what they are saying, as long as we are on the right track, as long as we are consistently moving without looking back, all of them will fall back eventually and ask for forgiveness. But we want to notify them and inform them in our dictionary, no longer, forgiveness is no longer written in our dictionary, because we have passed a Rubicon and a lot of people have died. So if your actions and activities led to the death of a lot of Biafrans, when you come back to ask for forgiveness, are you going to bring back those that fell, that you sabotaged, and they died? That is the singular reason you should know that there is no forgiveness after your sabotage. We are not going to forgive you, and we are not going to forget either the atrocity that you have committed. Anyị agaghị echefu, and ị ga-akwụ ụgwọ ya. At the appointed time, you are going to pay dearly and answer to your crimes. Having said that, thank you and have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's video. I am going to play it now, and after that, I am going to log out. Our leader is a special person to us. Everything that he has said at the cause of this freedom have elevated our spirit and strengthened us and given us the courage to continue to fight for what is right.
But I'm not sure they will, because they are very stubborn. And as God hardened the heart of Pharaoh to fail, so are they also going to fail. And that is why those of them who are in Benue State, that is why the likes of Governor Autumn or the very young man who was mouthing his rubbish a day or two ago concerning the deployment of Eastern Security Network into Lower Benue is in for a very, very difficult and horrible experience of their lives. I must warn also Governor Autumn of Benue State. I am not laying claim to Benue State, the entirety of Benue State, not at all. What I'm making very clear to you is that there are Igbo people, Igbo communities, not traders, not migrants, not settlers, no. These are our traditional towns, communities, and villages wickedly gerrymandered into the north. That you have Igbo people today answering Igbo names, speaking Igbo language, who are answering to nonsense, an abomination before God Almighty in heaven. I will not allow it to continue. Those Igbo-speaking parts of Benue State is part and parcel of Biafra, part and parcel of the eastern region. And should anything happen to them, if you fail to control Fulani incursion into that very territory, then ESN will continue to do their work. And I have commended them earlier and allow me to do so again at this very moment. I commend the men and women, not just of our high command, but also of the Eastern Security Network that successfully pursued and apprehended a notorious Fulani bandit by the name Muhammad Isa. We have the videos. For those of them claiming he's an old man, they're all lying, and they know it very well. He is the leader of a gang of abductors of rivers, tormenting our farming communities. But I'm glad to report this very evening, morning or night, depending on where you are, that that menace, that threat has been permanently put to bed. It will no longer happen. Should our people in Benue State be subjected to further attacks, I am also informing Governor Autumn of Benue State. I will make sure that ESN returns to that very area. Or should I say, come out of the bushes to confront whoever comes against the children of the Most High God, Elohim in heaven. This is a warning to all of you. For those of you that specialize in, should I say, in twisting the obvious into lies, I never claimed the whole of Benue State. You people carved Igbo people into Benue, which is unacceptable. We are in an, not that of the old, compromised and discredited Ohaneze Ndiara and Ndiuchu, not in that very era. No, we are not in that anymore. We are not in the era of compromised governors in the pocket of the Fulani Caliphate. No, we are now in the era of IPOB, and no inch of territory belonging to traditional, should I say, ethnicities making up Biafra will be surrendered to anybody, no. And in Benue State, we have taught them, while they were discussing that, don't come to Benue, we are already on the ground in Benue State, in Lower Benue. And we are not in Benue State that doesn't belong to us. We are in Igbo parts of Benue State, Igbo communities of Benue State. And we are there to defend them, and that is precisely what we are going to do. And nobody is going to discourage us otherwise. We are making it very clear today that the Eastern Security Network is on the ground. We are on the ground in Benue State and in every part of Biafra land for that matter. We are in Cross River, we are in Akwa Ibom, we are in Bayelsa. Everywhere it is happening. Anywhere we confront Fulani headsmen, these terrorists, we will drive them away. Be rest assured, we are not going to rest one iota until our farmlands, our homes, and our forests are secure. What is happening in Yoruba land cannot happen in Biafra land. Nobody, no idiot can come from anywhere to claim any inch or parcel of Biafran forest. It is not doable. Instead, we all die there. That is why I am making this presentation live, at least for those of you who may be able to come over on Instagram, that I am on Instagram and I'm live. If you want to see a live video of this very broadcast, it is there. You can and should be able to see it. Anywhere in Biafra land we confront Fulani terrorists, we shall meet them head on. We know that they are part of the police and the army. Danjuma himself, General T.Y. Danjuma himself, testified before the British Parliament that the army of Nigeria and the police are colluding in the conquest of indigenous populations in Nigeria. And we are no exception to that very horrible and sinister conspiracy. The police we have in our land are terrorists in uniform. The army we have in Biafra land are basically terrorists. They are there to aid and to support Fulani Janjaweed advancement to the Atlantic Ocean. And we are there to stop them, and we are stopping them, and will continue to stop them. A few days ago, as I said, we embedded our men and women of the Northern Command of Eastern Security Network. When we said Northern Command, people were confused. Biafra land is a nation. We have Northern Biafra, we have Central, we have the South, which is the coastal region, we have this. When I talk about the Northern Command, I'm talking about the northern part of Biafra land, which incidentally starts from Benue State. So we are right to be there. If you don't want us to be in Benue State, quietly go back to Abuja and appeal to them. Tell them to release Igbo people in Benue and carve them back into Ebonyi State, where they should belong, state, as the case may be. Therefore, one thing about Nigeria is that they tend to defend the aggressor. It is in the DNA in Nigeria to always support evil. That is why this very newspaper publication, I don't have a means of putting it here on Instagram where I am broadcasting live, where you can see my face and my facial expression, but it will be on my Facebook page. If you go there, you will see it. This publication was made on January 23 of 2021, this very year. It is a front page news by Vanguard. I want you to understand how an average Nigerian thinks, how they reason, why I think that Nigeria itself is a curse upon humanity. There on the front page, you will see, we will kill all policemen and take over Edo State. Fulani Janjaweed. Those they claim are foreigners. These people they told us are foreigners. They come from Mali, from Senegal, from Gambia, from heaven knows where, from Niger, from Chad, from Northern Cameroons. But they are in Nigeria, killing people. After killing us, they will not absorb them into our communities. That is why anybody, any Igwe, any PG, any greedy, avaricious fool, stupid enough to give any of our land to Fulani Janjaweed, you are finished. There was a man in Enugu that tried the same nonsense. Go and ask him where he is today. We take no prisoners. You see, the land of Biafra must be defended at all cost. At all cost. It is the land of God, given to his children for their eternal habitation. We may have failed in the past to recognize this very fact, but now that this generation has come, there is nothing anybody can do to stop us from restoring the kingdom of God upon the face of this very earth in the land of Biafra, without apologies to anybody. I understand that the Sadikin Fulani of Lagos went to see the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria in Lagos a few days ago. And according to the message, or should I say information coming out of the U.S. mission, they said is to foster cohabitation and unity, that diversity is strength. And I want to lay that particular nonsensical narrative to bed tonight before I continue any further. Anybody telling you about strength in diversity, that person is a liar and a deceiver. And the U.S. ambassador is a liar and a deceiver. One thing they don't teach we Africans is this. No country exists on a foundation of multiculturalism. There is nowhere in the world. Listen to me very carefully. All this nonsense, even the crap that Coca was coming up with, telling you about diversity is our strength and all that rubbish. Allow me to repeat, there is no country on this earth that survives on a foundation or a bedrock of multiculturalism. It doesn't exist. That is why multiculturalism in Africa is dead on arrival. It can never work. Because we are tribal beasts by nature. We are tribal by nature. That is why we travel from wherever we are during New Year's, during Christmas, during Easter, during New Year festival to go back home where we come from. Because that is where we identify with. Now, let me ask the U.S. ambassador a very simple question. Is United States of America a multicultural society? U.S. that was created and built by Western Europeans. U.S. was created, should I say, created by God, of course. Built by Western Europeans. Mostly English people that was fed up with the way of life of the English monarchy. They went to America on Mary Rose. I want to ask the U.S. ambassador, I want to teach Africans what they don't know this evening. There is no country that functions on this multi-ethnic rubbish. Nowhere in the world, not even the USA, that was created by people who are not indigenous to America. The owners of the soil of America are Native American Indians. That is a fact of life. God gave America to Western Europe to develop and gave them a special grace to be the beacon and the light and the conscience of the world. Because God knew that if he had left all these wonderful people in Europe, they would become contaminated. He removed them from Europe, sent them to America, built a wonderful nation as a shining light and a beacon for the whole world to look up to. Even that America that was built from scratch by people who are not indigenous to the land is not multicultural. Why am I saying this? America was founded on the principles of Judeo-Christian, Greco-Roman, democratic value systems. I repeat, America is not multicultural. They accommodate other races and other nations. Yes, they can accommodate you. But where you're coming into, the bedrock, the foundation of America is based on Judeo-Christian principles, Greco-Roman political ideology, which is republicanism. America is not multicultural. America is Western Europe. The value systems of Western Europe, Judeo-Christian, Greco-Roman, Republican governance. Had America been a multicultural society, they would have space for Sharia. I'm now addressing the US ambassador to try to tell them to stop deceiving people. We are educated, we went to school for enlightenment, and we have our brain intact. There is no country on this earth that runs on this wishy-washyism. It doesn't happen. What you have are established order and value systems upon which various cultures can now coexist. If you go to America, you coexist under the provisions of the United States Constitution. And the US Constitution is a Christian constitution, not Islam. America is not multicultural, but under that bedrock of liberty and egalitarianism, you allow other cultures to come in. But first of all, they must swear allegiance to or take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the USA. That is something that the US ambassador never told the Janjaweed that went to visit her. The same way that Nigeria cannot function as a viable entity. Wole Soyinka knows what I'm talking about. I'm even sure somebody who claims he's learned, as Bishop Coker is, understands what I'm talking about. No country on this earth. The value system of the State of Israel is based on Judaic principles. The value system of Russia is entirely theirs, is based on theirs. It's the Russian way of doing things from times of the Tsar. If you go to Saudi Arabia, it is essentially a Sharia Islamic state. You can live there, no problem. You can build your churches if you want. I think they've not started to allow churches to be built. But it is never a multicultural society. Japan is not a multicultural society. China is not. They can accommodate you. But that doesn't mean that this is the type of nonsense they feed Africans. And we fall for that very gimmick of multiculturalism. At the end of the day, you end up with a useless contraption like Nigeria. You don't have any value system that anybody anywhere can define. If I talk about the USA, I can talk about hamburger in the USA. We can talk about, what else do they have in the USA? Hamburger, you can talk about, what's it called? What are the traditional dishes? Apple pie and all the rest of it. You can say that these are American dishes. If you go to the UK, you can talk about maybe mashed potato and bangers and mash, which is as their national meal. That's understandable. But I ask you, if you come to Nigeria, what is the national dish of Nigeria? Does a Fulani Janjaweed eat ofe egusi, where we come from? Does an Igbo man eat a wedu soup? The answer is no. So on what basis is all this so-called multicultural foundation going to be laid upon? On what? We are not one people. We may be black, we may be Africans, but we're not one people. Not even one religion. If Britain cannot stay in an EU that is entirely Christian, EU is entirely Christian. Britain left. Nigeria, you don't know if Nigeria is Christian or in fact is Islamic. So for me to accept the multiculturalism being preached by the US ambassador, I have to embrace Islam as my religion. That's what it means. And some of you get taken in by all this rubbish. And I feel sorry for you. Yeah, sometimes when I say this, I'm being very arrogant. If you're educated, you will understand that no nation is multicultural. They allow other cultures to come in. It doesn't mean they're multicultural. They have a viable space where multicultural ideas or identities can thrive. But the foundation has to be monolithic. It has to be one dominant value system and ideology. That's how it is all over the world. Don't let anybody fool you otherwise. That is the same reason why you have this anomaly in a so-called republic. You have royal fathers because you are trying to shuffle multiculturalism. You're trying to marry the feudal system of the north, the monarchical system of the west, and the republican system in the east, to marry them into one. And what you have is entirely rubbish, and that is why Nigeria can never work. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. Competing value systems. Nobody wants their own value system to be subsumed under another person's value system. This is something that the US ambassador never told you. But here I am telling you today. Because if you come here, you become educated. If you come here, you become enlightened. If you come here, you stop being a zoo animal, you become a human being. That is why we are the largest and, of course, the most consistent broadcasting platform insofar as Africa is concerned, right across the world. Millions listen to us because the whole truth and nothing but the truth. That is why this very day, because you are in one Nigeria, in multiculturalism, the army will come to Olo to defend Fulani Janjaweed living in our forests. We went to Olo to defend our people. They came, they arrested the clerics. Men of God, they arrested all of them. How many times have you heard that imams were being arrested in the north? Or that village and imams being arrested? Only in Biafra land. And this is your multiculturalism. This is a place where you want all of us to stay, somehow to pretend that all is well when we know that it is not. In that same Nigeria is where Fulani headsmen openly boast about conquest. Benue State is one. That is why I feel sorry for the idiots talking rubbish from Benue. They came and they made the same bold claim on Edo State. And I quote, "We will kill all policemen and take over Edo State." Vanguard publication of January 23, 2021, this year. Only 2 months ago. Nothing happens to them. Only the Fulanis can lay claim to land that doesn't belong to them, and nobody will say anything. When you try to respond, they come against you. And your average foolish Nigerian who cannot reason properly, they're not educated very well, I'm sorry to say, will side with the oppressor. It's only in Nigeria where the victim becomes the accused. You came into Olo, Hope Uzodinma tried to give you land in Olo to build a Fulani settlement, and we said no to it. That's all. Talk about Olo crisis. And now they're trying to blame IPOB, they're trying to blame Eastern Security Network. But all of you are aware of the fact that Nigeria Army and Nigeria Police are essentially Fulani Janjaweed terrorists in uniform. The newspapers, all the articles, everywhere, the national discourse is replete with instances of Fulani being supplied by the military, as you're going to listen to later on. But nothing happens. When you try to fight back, you become the victim. And we are saying we are fed up of being victims. We can no longer be victims anymore. If you kill us, we'll kill you. I'm saying it live on video, so you can if you want. If you come to our land to kill us, we'll kill you. As simple as that. It may take us some time, but eventually we'll overwhelm you. Well, in the end, we always win. As I warned them in Benue, we are in Benue. In all of our colleagues in Benue State, and we're not living there until we are certain that the lives and properties of our people there are firmly secured. Any day we learn to stop blaming the victims, this world will be a better place. I'm directing this very statements to the US Ambassador, to the UK High Commissioner, to the EU presence in the zoo, and the UN as well. I know all of you will do nothing. We are not Muslims, so you're not going to help us, for sure. But we have something that you do not have. We have the grace, the might, and protection of God Almighty in heaven. And we know that God exists. And as long as He liveth, as my name is Nnamdi, my Redeemer liveth, as long as God lives in heaven, All of you can never triumph against us. Ojukwu said it before, and you said he failed. We know why he failed, because God said the time wasn't right. I want to show them, my children, what is called Biafra, that very kingdom. They have to fight their way into it. If that is the option you leave for us, then by all means, we will oblige you. But Biafra must come, or we all die. It's as simple as that. There is no alternative. People must understand the rage that is boiling within us. You must understand how angry we are. We may look normal to you, but we are very, very angry, believe you me. And by the time we are done with Nigeria, the name won't exist. That I can assure you. You people are now beginning to see the type of madness that we are capable of unleashing. And more is coming. And I do not hide it, because you hate us anyway. This conspiracy against Biafra, for no reason, we've done nothing wrong to anyone. But you despise us and you hate us. You want us to die because God gave us oil and gas. You want to take over our land. It's not going to happen. And we're not apologizing nor begging anybody to please read this letter. They are raping our women. They raped our women. Did you do anything about it? They went to the UK High Commissioner. They were telling them, oh, we can't do anything about it. Rape victims. But you're doing something about defending Fulani. You are defending Fulani. But rape victims in front of you cannot defend them. And you're neutral. And you want Nigeria to continue. So you want me to stay in a Nigeria where my women will be raped every day. Nobody will do anything about it. And I'll be clapping for you. One Nigeria. I'll be clapping for you. Check it up. Mad people. People are insane. You want me to stay in a country where the Fulani police and soldiers can come and take our women, rape them anyhow they like. Even before they release them, they charge. Do you know how much we have spent? We have spent nearly 9 million naira to secure the release of people who were abducted and raped, victims of state crime. Britain didn't say anything. UN never uttered a word. EU, nothing. US, nothing. And you want me to be in that country? I think some people are mad. Very, very insane indeed. If you do not believe in what we are doing, then you better get out. We're not going to stop. God knows we can never stop until Biafra is restored. We are peace-loving people. We abhor death and killing of another soul. Is in our. But because of that, they have been coming and killing us all these years. We've kept quiet. They've been killing and killing and killing quiet. We have a case at the ICC. We have a case at Africa Union. We have a case at what else again? Pending before the UN in New York. We've been to Geneva to tender our case. Before UN, till today, nothing. In fact, the more we complain to them, the more they come to abduct and rape our children, the more they come to kill us, the more they want to take over our land and our forests. And who told them that's going to be possible in our time? In a time, in a movement that I lead, you think you can come into our land and take it over? Oh dear. That means you don't know who we are. Arrested for doing nothing. Have you heard about any imams being arrested in the north? No. Do you want me to stay in one Nigeria with you after this level of injustice? Is that what you think? No, it is not going to happen. Not now, not tomorrow. There are two things plaguing them in the zoo. Lies and deceit. If not for the coming of IPOB, of Radio Biafra, all of you would have lived and died in the ignorance that Ojukwu caused a war. That's what they were writing. To write it. Ojukwu was a rebel, a secessionist, because we had no media. That is why they're paying Facebook billions upon billions of US dollars to stop this truth from coming out. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Gowon is alive, go and ask him. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Ojukwu went and negotiated restructuring with you. In Aburi. You came back, Britain told you not to agree because Britain realized that all the component units of Britain knows that if you go back to regionalism, you will have economic growth. The country will do very well. But Britain doesn't want it. That was why they even instigated the Nzogwu coup, so-called Nzogwu coup, saying they will bring Awolowo to become the head of state. They knew what was going to happen. They want the economic miracle of Dr. Michael. But what I'm telling you are fast. Go and investigate for yourself. In the East, you had the fastest growing economy in the whole world, over 40% every year. In the West, Awolowo was performing his own miracle as well. Even in the North, Ahmadu Bello and Tafawa Balewa were doing very well. You had all those massive industries in the North. You even had Alamajiris that were employed in the North, meaningfully employed, gainfully employed. They were all doing very well. Britain said, no, for us to control these people, we need to impoverish them. Let us introduce this war. There was a coup by Nzogwu. And after that, there was the massacre of, as usual, massacre of our people in the North. Ojukwu said, I have to secure my land and my people. They said, no, let's go to Aburi to discuss it. To Aburi and agreed, restructuring. That's something now you're asking for. To tell you how foolish Nigerians are. They're very foolish. That same nonsense you're asking for now was discussed many years ago. Ojukwu sat down in Aburi with Gowon and decided that regionalism was the best way forward. Restructuring, going back to who you were, 1963 Constitution, 1963 Constitution. Be on your own and pay tax to the central government, as they have in America, as they have even in Britain. Britain, you have Scotland that is almost independent, Wales, the same thing, everybody is free, but Britain doesn't want the same thing they're enjoying to happen in Nigeria. Why? Ask yourself that question. Anybody telling you about one Nigeria is your enemy, I'll prove it to you now. Ojukwu negotiated regionalism. The North will be on their own, the West on their own, even Midwest on their own, and then the East on their own. It's the same one Nigeria. On their way to the airport, before they boarded the aircraft, a call came from Lagos, from the British High Commissioner in Lagos, to Gowon, telling Gowon not to agree, after having signed the agreement. That same Gowon you're looking at today, God kept me alive so that he can witness the destruction he will bring upon that very zoo called Nigeria. Gowon said no. Do you know all the journalists in Nigeria, none of them have ever gone to Gowon to ask him, why did you say no to Aburi? Aburi was restructuring. None of those agitating for restructuring right now has ever gone to Gowon or gone to Nigeria to say, but Ojukwu negotiated restructuring. What happened? They came back and they said no. Ojukwu said, okay, so you want to continue to kill my people all over the place? No. Because of that, I'll declare Biafra. Today, they have brainwashed all of you with the perverse notion and thinking that somehow Ojukwu is responsible for causing a war, when opposite is the case. If not now, that after many years of hammering on this very topic, it has now sunk into the skull of the people that Gowon was the aggressor, not Ojukwu. That's how Nigeria is, always blaming the victim. And we lost over 5 million people during that very genocidal war. They killed over 5 million Biafrans. They wanted to wipe us away from the face of this very earth. But we survived it, and we are here today. Those they gave birth to, they have come. And this time with a wrath that you cannot even begin to imagine. And Biafra must come. It must come. Two things are bothering the zoo right now. You know, when God wants to destroy a nation, it comes in many ways. One, Buhari is dead. They brought in a fake. It is now dawning on the people very slowly that there is no more Buhari. People are now beginning to realize it. What I find astonishing are people that they claim are stakeholders in the zoo, those who should know better, those who should be, should I say, lead this very campaign to uncover the truth. They're all running away, they're all hiding. Do you know why they're hiding? Because the people talking about a late dead Buhari are those that oil and gas comes from their region. And they all think that they need oil and gas to survive. That is why they're all quiet. If not that Dino Malaya came out a few days ago, of course Obasanjo said it, even Aisha Buhari said it, but the husband is dead. They all pretended as if they didn't know. And we know that Buhari is dead. And when that very issue erupts the way and manner it would later on in the coming weeks and months, the zoo cannot contain the fallout. That is number one. Number two is that everybody keeps talking about there seems to be no government, there is no direction because Buhari is not there. That is why you have no direction. That is why the country seems to be drifting. That is why there is no sense of purpose, no cohesion, because there is no Buhari. So what you have are competing interests and ideas from the Fulani cabal that is ruling the zoo, ruling all of you. You know that little boy is not Buhari. Everybody knows that. How many Buharis are you going to have before you begin to reason and begin to think? When I said it, they said it was conspiracy theory, and I said with time, today people are coming out to confirm what we have always known. What we have always known, that Buhari is dead. That's why you have what is called a drift in the government. That is why there is no clear focus, there is no clear-cut direction, not at all. If not that I talked about Aisha Buhari in my last broadcast, I wouldn't have brought her out today to speak. And she only issued a statement. Nobody saw her. She's in Dubai having fun with her boyfriend, your first lady. And I asked them, in whose reign or regime in Nigeria or anywhere else in the world do you have a first lady missing in office? Only in Nigeria. But you as a Nigerian cannot ask any questions because of the way you reason. The problem you have as a Nigerian is in your brain. The way you reason is flawed. Ask yourself this question. If this woman's husband is alive, what is she doing in Dubai? And with who in Dubai? Simple question. But you can't ask yourself that question because you're a Nigerian. Sometimes you don't reason very well. It is not meant to be an insult. I'm just telling you the fact of life. Buhari is no longer alive. The various Fulani groups within, some are sponsoring terrorists from all over the place to come to your land to kill you. And you want to be in the same country with the same people that imported terrorists to come to kill you. I don't understand it. You see, I am struggling, some of you reason. They call themselves, you are Nigerians. Is that correct? Why would a fellow Nigerian go outside to the Sahel to pay people to come to kill you? They are fellow Nigerian. And after killing you, they say that those murderers and killers are now entitled to live in your forests and in your farmlands. Are all of you okay at all? Because I am struggling to understand how you people reason. The reason why I'm saying this is this. The gullible ones amongst you are the ones they are deceiving. They are deceiving all of you. And for some perverse reason, you tend to fall for it. But we have not fallen for it. And wonders shall never end. You saw the little boy that they were giving, they said they're giving him COVID-19 vaccine. And I ask you in all honesty, there are pastors and truth tellers and men of God, I believe, in Nigeria. Look at the hand of that boy. You've seen the pictures and the videos everywhere. Is that the hand of an 80-year-old man? How can all of a sudden Osibajo is now older than Buhari? Look at the videos and look at the pictures. At this point, I begin to ask some of you, are you sure that your brain is working? Your brain cells is working? People say, oh, it is a conspiracy theory. All these things that you're saying about these people, and I'm saying to them, have you not seen the picture of Osibajo taking the so-called vaccine or malaria injection? I don't know. Look at the man they claim is Buhari. Look at his hand. Is that the hand of an 80-year-old man? Is Buhari richer than Bill Gates? Is Buhari richer than George Soros? George Soros is richer than the whole of Nigeria. Bill Gates, the same thing. So if it is money that caused this very old dying man to now turn into a 35-year-old man, how come Bill Gates cannot do it? Or George Soros? Or even Queen Elizabeth for that matter? If they claim that the treatment that Buhari received that made him look this young was administered in London, the Queen is the Queen of England. the Queen of United Kingdom. Why wouldn't she go through the same treatment? Why not? Why wouldn't Prince Philip go through the same treatment and become young again? That is how Nigerians and black people reason, that give me cause for concern. If we continue this way, we can never ever build nor have any viable society, all of us together. And that is why it is very, very critical and very, very important that we do that which is right before God and man, and stop this from deceiving us. You are every head of state that took a vaccine all over the world. After taking the vaccine, they addressed their people. They spoke to the nation. Why is it that this one wearing an oversized face mask, of course on top of Buhari hyper-reality face mask, could not utter a word? Can't you ask yourself that question? He came to take his vaccine. Go and look at other heads of state. They take their own vaccine in public and they speak. This one is like a mannequin. He comes out, you wheel him out, and they do something and he goes back in again. That tells you that Buhari is no longer alive. Buhari is in a shallow grave in Saudi Arabia. He's dead. And that is why they're in a hurry. That is why this governor can say, I will not listen to Asarok. That governor will say, let's bring in more bandits. Let's settle them. That is disjointed and dysfunctional. Nobody's in charge. Obasanjo knows that nobody's in charge. I think he said that he may not agree that it's a Buhari double, but that the Buhari now in Asarok is not the one he used to know. How else do you want him to put it? He's been very prominent. He wants Nigeria to survive so that him and his friends can continue to enjoy oil money. That's all. Oil money. That's nothing more, nothing less. Just oil money. Just oil money. So they can continue to enjoy oil money flowing from Biafra land. That's all. Not that they love you. Not that they love one Nigeria. Of course not, they don't. Nobody does. These are the things that you ought to know, and that's what we're telling you this very day. The time now is 7 minutes to the top of the hour, regardless of where you're all over the world. That tells you that we are live and we are direct, and this very gospel is coming to you so that you may change, you may have a change of heart. You may have a change of, where is your first lady, Aisha Buhari? Where is she? In the country. For how many months now? You claim you're a human being. Towards us, we start complaining. We don't like racism. But when